Chapter 7. Land Valuation. Land is a primary and essential component for every endeavor of man. It is generally defined as the surface of the earth, which includes both land and water. In addition, everything under the surface, including natural resources in their natural state, is considered part of land. Land includes the air above the surface of the earth to the height that it is. Let's start that sentence over, shall we? Land includes the air above the surface of the earth to the height that is the airspace reserved by the government. Black's Law Dictionary defines land as an immovable and indestructible three-dimensional area consisting of a portion of the earth's surface, the space above and below the surface, and everything growing on or permanently affixed to it. Garner, 2004, 881. Since land is essential to the nation's way of life, it is the basis for the social and economic activities of people. Land is used for residential, commercial, industrial, agricultural, and recreational purposes, and it is the subject of several disciplines, including geography, economics, law, and sociology. Each discipline has a slightly different concept of land. Geography describes the physical characteristics of land. Characteristics such as size, shape, view, topography, and the like are obviously of real importance to the appraiser. However, the availability of facilities and services and the migration of people are equally important. Economics. Economics views land as one of the four agents of production, along with labor, capital, and management. Together, these represent the principle of balance, one of the basic principles of value. Land also is a major source of wealth, and the economic concept of land value views land in terms of desirability or monetary value. Law. Law deals with ownership. The United States has a free market economy, and laws and administrative rules regulate land use. Thus, the law focuses on the rights and obligations accompanying the various ownership or interests on land. Sociology. Sociology approaches land as a resource shared by the people and a commodity individuals can own, trade, or sell. However, today's society is becoming increasingly concerned with the current uses of land. The supply of land is fixed, no more land can be created, so the emphasis is on using land more intensively. There are 5 attributes of land, and those that practice the 4 disciplines have a common understanding of the following attributes. Land is permanent and durable. Land remains even after an improvement has completely deteriorated. Land is unique in both location and composition. Every parcel is distinctive in that no 2 parcels can occupy the same space on the earth. There is a finite supply of land. More land cannot be created or manufactured as with other commodities. Land is functional. Everything that is produced, whether directly or indirectly, requires the use of land. Land is stationary. It is considered immovable except for some of the highly unusual circumstances caused by acts of nature such as earthquakes, volcanoes, and changes in water levels or the paths of water. The 5 attributes of land are links between land and all the disciplines that study land. Appraisers must have an understanding of how economics, sociology, geography, and law relate to land. The concepts of these disciplines provide the basis for valuing both land and improved parcels. This chapter discusses the collection and analysis of the data required for land valuation, as well as the development of land using the 6 generally accepted methods. Number 1, sales comparison. Number 2, allocation. Number 3, abstraction. Number 4, anticipated use or development. Number 5, capitalization of ground rent. Number 6, land residual capitalization. The chapter also provides a segment on the role of soils in land valuation. Land valuation begins by identifying the property. The appraiser must know the size and location of the subject to be appraised. The appraiser must also determine whether the appraisal is of unimproved land or improved land, which is typically referred to as a site. Unimproved land is raw land in its natural state, prior to grading, construction, and or subdividing. And it is undeveloped in agricultural use or intended for development. The land has no sewers, utilities, streets, buildings, or other amenities. Raw land might be found in an urban fringe or within a city limits. Its current use might be for agricultural purposes, or it may provide a natural habitat for wildlife. Nothing has been done to develop the or improve the land.
That's unimproved land. Okay.
Yes. Now, improved land is land that is developed to the extent that it is ready for its intended use and is referred to as a site. Improved land or a site includes both improvements to land and improvements on land. Improvements to land increase the land's usefulness and prepare the land for development. Off-site improvements such as streets, sidewalks, curbing, traffic lights, street lights, and water mains are considered improvements to land. On-site improvements such as grading, paving, driveways, landscaping, sewers, and utility hookups are also considered improvements to land. Improvements on land are any structures or buildings placed or erected on the site. All or part residential, commercial, industrial, or agricultural buildings. Once the land has been properly identified and described, the appraiser must classify the land. Land may be classified as residential, commercial, industrial, land in transition, agricultural, special purpose, or underdeveloped. Zoning is important in determining land classification because zoning ordinances often prescribe exactly the uses that are permitted for the property. Zoning also can help determine highest and best use, which must be done before the land is valued. Site analysis. Site analysis includes identifying all of the components of the parcel that contribute to the value. This requires the physical measurement of the site, collection and analysis This requires the physical measurement of the site, collection and analysis of site-specific data, physical characteristics of the site, and the collection and analysis of information about trends and factors affecting value. Trends and factors. After classifying the land and tentatively determining its highest and best use, the appraiser must analyze the trends and factors affecting the parcel. Trends can have an immediate impact on the value of a property. Various trends must be analyzed and taken into consideration when determining the value of a parcel of land. Not only are trends and factors affecting the site a critical aspect of the valuation of a site, but also they can help the appraiser select the appropriate valuation method. Trends that influence land value are physical, environmental, economic, governmental, and social factors, which is PEGS, P-E-G-S. Physical or environmental factors are both natural and man-made physical circumstances that affect land value. The most significant physical environmental factor in residential land is location. Some factors are more important to commercial and industrial values than to residential, because income is the primary goal of commercial properties. Physical or environmental factors common to both rural and residential properties have a different effect on rural property. For example, soil type and condition are primary influences on the types of crops that can be grown. Physical or environmental factors that influence any property use Physical environmental factors that influence any property use class are shown in Table 7.1. Table 7.1, Physical environmental factors in land valuation. The residential factors
that affect residential are.
Oh, okay. So factors that affect residential are location, street patterns, hazards or nuisances contained, soil and subsoil conditions, climate, utilities, size and shape of lot, sites, topography, appearance, proximity to supporting facilities, and drainage. Factors that affect commercial land valuation are location, street patterns, hazards, nuisances contained, soil and subsoil conditions, size, shape of lots, sites, topography, appearance, proximity to supporting facilities, and drainage. Physical factors that affect industrial land valuation are location, street patterns, hazards, nuisances contained, soil and subsoil conditions, climate, utilities, size, shape of sites, of lots or sites, topography, drainage, transportation, location of labor, waste disposal, and proximity to markets. Physical factors that influence rural land valuation are location, soil and subsoil conditions, climate, topography, drainage, irrigation, proximity to markets, and residential support facilities. Economic factors influence supply and demand and the buying public's economic ability to satisfy its wants and needs through property purchases. They also influence the quality of residential neighborhoods and the quality of residential housing within them. In addition, there is a direct bearing on the income producing capability of commercial, industrial, and rural properties from economic factors. Economic factors that influence any property use class are shown in Table 7.2. Table 7.2. Economic factors in land valuation. The economic factors that influence residential in land valuation are lender attributes and monetary policies.
Lender attitudes.
Oh, that is attitudes. My bad. Lender attitudes and monetary policies. Property taxes, special assessments, price and rental levels, family income or wages, turnover and vacancy, assessments, utility costs, ownership tenancy ratios, jobs, land use patterns, amount of vacant land, new construction, foreclosure rate, fire insurance costs.
Go ahead.
Economic factors that influence commercial land valuation are lender attitudes and monetary policies, property taxes and special assignments, price and rental levels, family income wages, turnover and vacancy, population changes, direction of growth, compatibility of development, competing commercial neighborhood, business failures and turnover ratios, and property tax incentives. Economic factors that influence industrial land valuation are lender attitudes and monetary policies, property taxes or special assessments, price and rental levels, family income or wages, assessments, utility costs, transportation costs, union attitude, incentives, equipment, operating costs, and property tax incentives. Economic factors in land valuation. Economic factors that influence rural land valuation include lender attitudes and monetary policies, property taxes or special assessments, price and rental levels, family income or wages, ownership tenancy ratios, equipment, and operating costs. Governmental factors are regulations, services, and facilities instituted or provided by federal, state, and local governments that affect land use patterns. The same governmental factors influence all four classifications of properties as is shown in Table 7.3. Governmental factors in land valuation. No, this is Table 7.3. So the governmental factors that influence residential land valuation are municipal services, planning, zoning, building needs, building codes, sorry, developmental regulations, taxes, special assessments. Governmental factors that influence land valuation for commercial are municipal services, planning, zoning, building codes, developmental regulations, taxes, special assessments. Governmental factors that influence industrial land valuation are municipal services, planning, zoning, building codes, developmental regulations, taxes, special assessments. And governmental factors that influence rural in land valuation are municipal services, planning, zoning, building codes, developmental regulations, taxes, special assessments, and federal policies and programs. Social factors are demographic, population attitudes, characteristics, and trends. Also, the ages of residents, family size, and marital status, cultural backgrounds, and types of employment are social factors that can influence the identity of residential neighborhoods. Buying capabilities and buying habits of people in neighborhoods are central social factors for commercial properties. Shifts in population that affect the availability of labor are key social factors for industrial and rural properties. Social factors that influence any property use class are shown in Table 7.4. Table 7.4, Social Factors in Land Valuation. The social factors that influence residential land valuation include population characteristics and shifts, crime, neighborhood cohesiveness, standard of living, level of income, spendable income, price, parking, and transportation. Social factors that influence commercial land valuation include population characteristics and shifts, crime, standard of living, level of income, spendable income, price, parking, transportation, and neighborhood stores. Social factors that influence industrial land valuation include population characteristics and shifts, crime, availability of labor, education level, training, and membership in unions. Social factors that influence rural land valuation include population characteristics and shifts and availability of labor. Site-specific data must be collected including frontage, width, depth, shape, area, topography, slope, drainage, and soil condition and off-site improvements.